All right, everything looks like it's good. I've made a few changes to all my settings and stuff, so let me know what you think of the audio quality, stream quality, all that stuff. And yes, Philip, I'm going to keep this stream up, so this will be a part of the ongoing short film series that I'm doing. So all the episodes of that will stay up for everybody, so stay tuned for that. Got a new tutorial dropping tomorrow as well, so keep an eye out for that. Should be pretty good. All right, well, let's jump into it. Let's get started. Let's make some progress. Hey, Juju, welcome. Good to have everybody. Hey, Zay. Nice to have everybody. Moonshard, good to see you. All right, let's get started. I'm going to turn off the text and the splash screen. Here we are back in our short film. Let's continue. All right, I'm going to go back to the start and just review what we're up to and see what bounces, what's working for me, and kind of get a sense of what we're going to do tonight. Okay. This beginning bit's definitely bouncing for me. This walking, we can tell like there's just a lot of slide going on. So we're gonna have to do a custom walk cycle on that. This shot doesn't feel like it's working either. It feels redundant. Like I feel like we could go from this, like we're walking with the feet, and cut straight to this shot, right? And have him sneak out. Unless this shot gives us an opportunity to set something up with him, which I think it might. But I'm thinking the framing may not be right. This shot I'm not sure is right. I'm not sure this shot. It just feels like it's the same. It's exactly the same as this one in terms of what it's doing. So that's the next thing we need to kind of figure out. With the technique we did, we've got like the walk cycle in place, and we're just kind of sliding them forward. It's useful. I feel it's useful as like a starting point. This like close shot, it doesn't hold up, right? So we'll have to do this manually. But in other sections, you know, like here, I think it works in this shot. I think it works in this final shot out here. So there's a lot of places where it does work, and that saves us a lot of time. Since it's working there, we don't have to do anything more to it. So sometimes it's good to kind of start with that and then kind of identify, okay, these are the bits where we need to tweak it. Well, let's figure out what's going to happen in the action here. Let's do some poses of this guy for this section. And that'll help us, I think, kind of get a sense of what this shot could be for us and how it might be different. Just gonna make sure everything's going. Say hi, everybody. Hey, Merg over on Twitch. Thanks as always for joining me. I'm glad we always at least have one person on Twitch. Red Tech Animations. I'm doing well. How are you? Thanks for asking. Ashley Barnes, what's the plan? Will you get your existing animation near perfect before moving on to the next shots, or will you move on soon? I'm going to be doing the you'll watch me continue to refine the animation. So I think my next goal is going to be posing this guy. I'll figure this shot out, but then we're going to start doing the detail animation for this guy through the whole front section. I think that'll be the case. I think we're gonna then go straight into lighting and stuff after that. That's my vibe. I'm thinking we'll do that because I might just learn some things about the workflow and about how we're going with it all in that process, and that might inform what I want to do in the next scene, if you know what I mean. So we can kind of like go through the whole thing with the first scene. We can kind of test the whole pipeline workflow thing and just make sure everything's working and there's no problems, and that we can like get a nice finished product if we do it this way. So hopefully that'll work. So Unet7, hey C Bailey, love your videos, man. Thanks so much, Unet, appreciate it. Awesome. Hey, what's up, Group Zed? All right, let's get started. So we're gonna do this. We'll start with this shot. I get these bits going. So for this first bit, I want to have him walking just like these guys. He's gonna match their action. So we can actually reuse the strip for this. I'm gonna pull up my space a little bit with everything. Just get this up here, this here, and go for a little bit further. All right, so let's see. I've got is this droid rig 5? Yep, droid rig 5. So we've got the droid march. That's interesting that we've got. I don't know what's going on here because we've got the droid march. But is it, but we've also got another action strip it's overriding it. Okay, so this is good. How do I want to do this? We could just go ahead and push this down as an action strip. So right now there's keyframes living on this guy. You can see them all here. These are all the different keyframes that we've got for the different moments with this little droid. We don't really need any of the keyframes up until this point, because this is where the poses sort of kick off. So we need like that keyframe, but these I don't think we need. What we could do is hit up to go to this first frame. But it's still gonna affect things. I wonder, can we blend? No, it's not gonna blend. Okay. We're just gonna push this down as a strip. So I'm gonna click this, it'll take this action and it'll bring it right down. And so this will allow us to change the order of stuff. What do I want to do with this? I mean, the other option, which is probably even better, is just to go into edit mode with this. Hit A to select all. And we just grab our walk cycle keyframes, right? Like this. And copy. Go out of edit mode, go back into this. And then paste. Is that going to be a good idea? I don't know if that's a good idea. It's not a good idea. And why is he in the sky now? It's also not. We've already broken our short film. It's because, oh, that's right, because I pushed it down. So when you use the NL editor, things can get pretty confusing sometimes. It's sort of a cautionary tale. Okay, we can affect it. If I just click here, this gives me what I want to do. Okay. So let's quit Steam so you guys don't get spammed by it. All right. If we go combine, that's going to work. Right, let's leave it at combine. I think that's good. All right. So anyways, we got the droid march that we put on him already. This was from earlier. And we've got this fade out going on. So out over 6.4 frames, it fades out. And you can see it creates this really nice blended animation where he kind of slows to a stop, which is the point of this shot. We got this one guy who's going to kind of lag behind. Okay, let me pop out of my camera and come over to him. Let's get his position set up correctly. I'm going to leave pose mode, go to object mode. And I just want to have a look at the, what's the Y location? Where are those keyframes? I'll just hit full stop. So, okay, so we've got this like angle here giving us like some continuous motion on this. So I want to move him a bit further along. So I'm going to get this curve to be steeper. So he's kind of walking more in line. Maybe just a little bit slower. And we need it to continue until he kind of goes to a stop. So right about here. So what I can do is just grab this keyframe and bring it down so it's roughly the same angle. And I can copy it and we can go to the end here. Just paste that. Now this is going to need to be in a different spot, so I might copy and paste that just so it jumps back. Now we're going to have the same sort of sliding problem. And I mean, I guess we might as well do this custom. Yeah, let's do it custom. I'll split my view so we can see the actual camera view. Go into the camera from this angle. And what I'm going to do is make sure I'm not locked to camera. Pull that there. And let me think about this. So I'll put him right up here. So he's kind of like in the right spot where he should be. And then we could slow his speed down. That could be good. So let's take this and let's slow this down. You can actually slow down a strip. So playback scaling factor. Is this it? I think it's it. So if I draw that scaling factor out, you should be walking slower. Yeah, he's walking slower. It's a bit too slow. So let's take that scaling factor and we'll take it to like 1.2 maybe. Yeah, it works. At Tharva asking how much I earn from YouTube. You can actually find out what anyone earns on YouTube if you search on what's it called. It's like a metric thing. I forgot what it's called. I haven't looked it up in so long. Anyways, you can Google it, but there's you can actually look it up and it shows you like on average what people or different channels you can bring in a certain channel, and you can see how little I make doing this. All right, so yeah, I think that works. It's good. He stops. I don't know if he'd fully stop, would he? He might like continue to walk, but just slow down more and more. We can animate the strip time. So actually, that's not right, is it? There's a way to do that. For sync length. Maybe that is where you do it. Animated strip time. There's like, I think there's something that should appear on it. It's 8 on us. Thanks so much. Has recently subbed because you're so informative. Thank you for live streaming your descent into madness for us. It's my pleasure. I'm happy to. Can we animate this? Oh, no, because it would it extends the end. That's what I mean about the NL editor. It's like a rabbit hole. You can easily get lost down it when you just want to like slow down a walk animation. It would be easy just to kind of copy the keyframes and slow them out a bit. You end up kind of spending way too long trying to figure it out. Have a look at the whole shot here. I'll turn off all of our widgets and stuff for this one so we can actually see it. Yeah, that's nice. Like we just kind of starts to come to a stop right at the end. All right, let's do that. I will delete that keyframe and I'll grab this one down so it's nice and then I might take the out and extend it out a bit further. I'm watching over here, by the way. Okay, so we do need to bring that to a stopping point. Okay, cool. So the main idea of the shot is him kind of lagging behind. And that makes a bit more sense, but I do feel like the framing is not correct for that. So let's have a look at this camera. Let's go up here to cameras. Where are we at? We're looking at this one, marching law profile. This is version 2. I will just work on this one because I don't think I'm gonna keep that. So the 1 minute asks, hello, can you do any tutorials on Python scripting? I actually do have one tutorial on Python scripting, I think. Search Python on my channel page. It'll pop up for you. It gives you a kind of an intro. I've also done some for CG cookies. You could have a look at the ones I've done there. They're pretty good. Anyways, Giselle says, hello, I wanted to thank you because of your amazing work. Learning from the way you do things helped me with my studies at university. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for letting me know. Glad it's been helpful for you. So, and Vedicus says, I want to learn character animation. I already know Blender UI, but everyone tells me to learn Maya because it's way better. Any advice on this matter? It's a great question. There are fundamentals of animation that transcend any piece of software. So if you learn it in one, you'll be able to use it in another. Maya is the industry standard, but that's not necessarily always going to be the case. On the movie that I'm working on, it was we're using Blender for previs, which is kind of a big shift for them. And now my role on the movie, I'm using Maya. But I'm not doing character animation. I'm just animating characters. I'm animating cameras, and the animation tools in Maya are really good. Like the way it handles curves and stuff, it is really nice. The way you can paste stuff, it's really nice. So it's definitely great. But the thing is with Maya, you don't have to learn all of it. You just learn the animation bit and you're good. Like you could learn Blender back to front, for example, use that as your main tool if you wanted, and then just watch a few tutorials on how to use Maya, and you can kind of jump into it. Just even having never used it, you can just kind of jump into it and use it. Because you're not like necessarily doing everything. You're not rigging in Maya. You're not like doing textures in Maya, so that stuff can get kind of complex. But if you're just doing animation, it's just about understanding the rig that you're working with and taking it from there. So hope that makes some sense. Now I'll have to fix this because he is overlapping a bit in this shot. We don't want him in that shot, but it's okay. Let's figure this framing. I might look at the end of this shot and think about it. So I might raise it up a little bit and rotate more onto him. The thing is, we want to make sure it's not just a repeat of the next shot, like this kind of is almost serving the same, point of this one, unless we're like way more zoomed in on this one. Like we could take this one and come here and like punch in like this, and then like rotate up so he's the center of focus. So it's like robots. Yeah, that works. Although I do feel like I want to be wider here. So I'm going to punch out, I think. Is our camera animated? What's going on there? Oh yeah, Y. We've got Y location. I'm going to delete. I'm going to clear those keyframes from this camera just for now so I can. Oh, what did I delete? Didn't delete what I thought I deleted. Clear keyframes. Clear keyframes. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I almost feel like we could have a bit of a push in here. Like we could go to like this, and then let me just focus on all those keyframes for this camera. Because right now they're set to stepped interpolation. I'm going to interpret as linear. Yeah. Although I feel like the story beat, like we should almost be there a bit longer. He's kind of being revealed by these guys, which is a nice effect. I kind of like that. but I feel like this cut is just happening too soon. So let's grab this camera. So just click the marker for the camera and hit G to grab. I've just dragged it forward. So now this is where those moving those keyframes around is really going to mess us up. So it's a bit annoying. We should get this to work in actual 3D space. But I feel like the vibe of this is a good idea. Almost might cut to this sooner too. Yeah. All right, let's fix this movement up of these guys. So I'll grab the main control for them. Is that what this is? Now we did all these custom keyframes here to get these to land. We're gonna have to redo that work anyway, so it doesn't matter a whole lot. Let's have a look at what this looks like. Which one do we want? We want the Y location. And just drag this down because we don't need that. And basically we just want this to be a continual slope down at the same angle. Does it matter out here? No, it really kind of only matters through to here, but so we're not too far off. Like these just need to come up. Bring those up. And then this one and this one need to come down. Now it's pretty lined up. Now that's better. Now let's fix him. Grab his rig. Let's have a look at, so it's just all this stuff. But I feel like he needs to come back anyways. So what we could do is just grab all of these keyframes, which are his Y location, like so. Sorry about that. And bring them up so that they're more in line with this bit. That, and I need, actually let's just, I'll just hide all the others. So we're just looking at these guys. I need to do, grab all of this, and we actually don't need these, do we? No, let's delete those. Just grab this keyframe and get it to a good spot so that it works in, be good if it worked in the previous shot as well, to be honest. Yeah, cool. Now we just need to adjust the position of this camera so that it feels right. So let's grab that. We can also grab the keyframes and just extend them out a bit. Actually, no, we don't want to do that because we actually just want to get rid of these for now. So clear keyframes, clear keyframes. Let's go to the beginning of this shot. And actually, we'll do it from the end because I want to kind of get that in frame right. So lock my camera into view. Oh, can we like go really far with this? Let's find out. Let's switch this to linear. So kind of like a boom down. That's kind of cool. Still want to have a bit of a push in though. It seems like we've got some funny business going on with these keyframes. Stuff turned off? No. But it suddenly up like that. Oh, I missed a keyframe, that's why. These guys back. Frame, so they match. Yeah, okay. I don't like this bit up here, so I think I'll just pull back a bit. This one, let's go in a bit more. And well, it really does fall behind if we do it this way, doesn't he? But still, it's working a lot better. Like, what? Check that out from the start. Yeah, that feels a lot better to me. Now these shots are actually telling us something different. So, okay, the main thing I don't like now is at the start of this, we got this big empty space. Off to the right, the composition doesn't feel right to me. Feels like we need to be kind of over. I don't know, like maybe framing him like this. That bit, and then this bit just coming over and across a bit more. Remember, I've got auto keying turned on. That's why when I'm making these changes to the camera, it's like overriding the information. Yeah, cool. I feel like we can work with this. Yeah, I feel like I should come to a stop. So let's take these camera keyframes. Let's right click, interpolate Bezier, and then grab the first ones here, scale X, and we'll just bring it right down. And this basically makes it linear at the start, and then it slows down at the end. I don't like how he's blocked so much here. So I feel like we need to come this way a little bit. So X location. Grab this possibly and play around with it. Maybe this needs to have a bit of a curve to it. Also, maybe not go as far on the X. And I could also rotate. Center him up a bit better. Double click on an attribute, it'll automatically select all those keyframes. So let's find a good point. Let's rotate up a little bit. I don't know, it's a bit of a compromise. do like it when we come in a bit tighter. Maybe if we drifted lower so that at this point, let's try that. It's nice. Now I do feel like at the start, and you can see we've got a frame with no motion, so I just need to drag those guys. A little bit more on the rotation here from the start. Probably go closer. So let's take the Y. Although now our final frame is pretty similar to the punch in, which isn't great. Let's see. Ashley has a cool question. Would it help if you put a damp track or similar constraint on the camera to force focus on the hero bot? Also, you've got to use the golden ratio composition guide. Obviously, yeah, I know I need to turn that on. So I would say in this case, no. And often I don't use the constraints on the camera. I find that if you use a constraint, sometimes it's really tough to get really nice camera motion. You don't have the control you want. So it's better to actually kind of use a combination of like empties that your camera's parented to, so you get some extra different kind of rotations if you want to pivot around something. But just animating it by hand, I think, tends to work a lot nicer. There are some cases where a constraint like a damp track is really useful, but often I avoid it because you can get better options, I think, without it. All right, we'll leave it like this for now because I feel like I'm kind of doing the same thing over and over again. Sometimes it's good just to take a break from a shot and come back to it later. Thomas asks, can I ask if you deliberately avoid awkward positions for the character as part of your workflow? I focus on what the camera sees, and I just try and create the best poses, for the motion, for the action. I guess, what do you mean by awkward positions? Do you mean like awkward, like is in their pose being kind of like a bit of a weird pose, but it looks good in the camera? Because if that's the case, I do that all the time. So even if it's a really, like, if you looked at the character, like the way their pose is a bit scary, but if you're looking at it through the camera, it looks right, like they're in the right spot, and it kind of feels good. Ultimately, it's only what the camera sees that matters. So that's the main thing to focus on. Let me know if that answers your question. So good morning, Amador. Welcome. Good to have you. Good morning in Spain. Spain. Nice. It's currently 8 o'clock, 8:06 p.m. here in Sydney, Australia. All right, let's do some more animation on this guy. I'm going to switch to pose mode. And let's think about his poses. I'm just going to slide to this. The object, I can turn that down. Master. If I select A, I'll see all the different controls here for him. And I can pull it all up. Okay, I'm going to do one pose. I kind of just down and a little bit of a tilt. I need to figure out his feet because he slides over quite a lot. This foot shouldn't really move unless I have him take a step, which I don't think I will. It's moving a lot on the X. Let's see what we can do. Delete that. I feel like what he would do is maybe he would take a step like here. I'm gonna lift his foot up too high. I just want a little bit of a step. And then after that, he would take this foot, set a keyframe. Oops, sorry, not there. This difference between the box, which is the object control, but that's for the whole thing, and the bone, which is the specific bone that you selected. So I'll do that, and then I'll go forward a little bit. Grab Z, grab X, rotate on the Y, rotate on the Z, and then clear those rotations back out and bring him down. 0 on the Z. Let me just pull it back a little bit more. This one, I'll bring it over touch. So there's an actual arc in his foot there. Yeah, cool. These are all happening way too fast. So get him to stop. And I'll have the first bit where he kind of rotates. I'm going to hit A to select all. I'm going to get out of the curve mode for this. And I'm going to switch to the dope sheet because I'm not really looking at curves yet. I'm just kind of thinking about the placement of solid keyframes. So it's a bit easier for me to work in this view mode. So this is where he starts to turn. Space this out a bit. Actually, first I'll select all, make sure I've got everything selected. That way. And he might like come up, it's like down and then like here up a little bit and like a correction, just like a subtle kind of bring that in a bit. I'm just thinking about timing of these animations. And then he's going to like glance off to the side, I think. So it's like down. And then he takes a quick look off to the side. So where's his controller? Here it is. So does his and then just set a keyframe by moving it. Give him with auto keyframe turned on. So Init 7 says, dude, I watched the first 7 minutes of the NLA edit tutorial and my mind is blown. You're one bad cat. Thanks, Unit. Appreciate it. Andrea says, cheers from Italy. Thanks for your works. Thanks so much. Thanks for watching. Nice to have people from Spain and Italy. It's like The sun is rising over Europe. So, hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm just working backwards through chat to what I've missed. Tamandy says, yeah, I'm starting to understand the basic stuff, but the moment multiple shifts of weight is introduced, I could spend hours and get nowhere. Yeah. Even like a relatively simple sitting on the ground or standing position. Yeah, and I'm no pro at character animation. Like I've got a lot of experience with it, but I'm not like a professional character animator by any means. Like where it's the only thing I do, and you know, so it's a challenge. I find it a challenge. It's a fun challenge though. Turn. Where's the keyframe for this? Was it here? Yeah. So I might start the head turn here. Give it like 4 frames. So I'll move this thing down on Y and on the X. Also need to get his rotations correct. So we'll put it there. Grab his head controller. Hit I for the rotations. And then I can just correct him up. It's interesting that that ended up there. Is there's Z keyframes on this? No, it's just this. Why did that get pushed so far out? If anything, I feel like he would glance back. You know, like, oh, there's some weird stuff going on here. Be careful about these rotations on this head. I should zero these out, to be honest, because they start getting big. That means like somewhere we flipped, and it's gonna get really. Let's follow these. Let's follow the trail. Where is it? Where do they go nuts? They're fine here, and then suddenly they get huge. So let's see. I'm gonna take the body. Have a look at these rotations. So this keyframe, it should be zeroed, and then just a little bit of a tilt. So those are now small numbers, which that looks much better. I don't know why Z is. Okay, so that's the main one there. And this one here, zero those out. Turn him just a little bit. Just keep an eye on that with yours. You know, if you're animating, just make sure you don't have keyframes kind of go off too far into big values. If you're doing stepped keyframes, sometimes you won't notice, and that can cause a lot of problems when you do that. It's kind of nice, still extra head turn. So he turns. Top, create a bit more breathing room with these. This guy's going all over the place. This is a full 360. Let's bring this back. Let's grab this guy and figure out what's happening with him. So the look control, it's really just going to be the position values. The rotations don't matter and the scale doesn't matter. So it's just these. Okay, cool. Now what I'm going to do is take this look control. I'm going to take these keyframes and bring them forward. So it's like he turns. Okay, so what am I missing? Something's going on here because this keyframe should have been like over here. It just makes me feel like there's something fishy going on. Yeah, because then it moves off over there. Let me see. What is the controls? Parent to the master. What's the master doing? Does it have any weird keyframes? Okay, it does. Over here, we've got that same rotation problem. I wonder if that's causing issue. Hmm. Very unusual. Hmm. Hi, Starghost. I'm just working on fleshing out the animation for the main character, but I'm trying to figure out what's going on because I'm getting some weird keyframes. It seems to happen here. So whatever is going on here is doing. All right, so he's rotating. Oh, I know what's going on. If I go out of pose mode, go into object mode, I've rotated his body here, which means I need to have a counter rotation. That could screw us up later. I'm not sure. I might have needed to just do that within my bones, but we'll see what happens. So I'll grab Y, grab X, get it there. That's why it needs to have another position. So let's have him look back. Let's have a look at what this is like. You know, like he's running. Does it? Well, that it's rotating his legs that way. Oh, that makes sense. Why it would be doing that. Maybe that's a bad idea, having a pose like that. It's kind of funny having him go off. No, it's going to be bad. There's not enough time to really sell that. He just needs to dash off. We'll keep what we had. I might even get rid of that. Look back. All right, let's get the timing right. So he needs to be looking a little bit longer. Like we need to register his gaze. And this is a pretty long gap here. So I'm going to grab all these guys and just actually first hit A to select all so I get everything, all the bones, and then I can box select. I'm selecting up here at the summary level as well, which is grabs everything below it. That's a great way of working out timing. Still feels quick to me. Get rid of that set. I don't feel like it's doing anything for us. cut sooner. Does it do anything? Fun if he kind of like, like does a little duck, kind of a subtle slide back. Cool. I feel like that timing's pretty good. Let's have a look at it through here. Okay. Actually, have you played around using the pose library at all? Though since it's only a short film, it might not be useful. The library is in pose mode. Could be good at least save the default standing position. I mean, the default standing position is already saved. If I select all my bones and set them all to 0 or reset the pose, it's always going to go back to the default stand that I set up for it when we rigged it. So I'm not so worried about that. It can be really useful. One thing with this guy is he's such a simple rig. Like he doesn't have a lot of parts. So it does kind of, I don't know, probably makes it a little bit redundant. It is a cool system. It's really good, especially for facial expressions, which are quite complex and get reused a lot. I think that's a really good use case for it. But all right, let's try fleshing out some of this. I've also got this weird wire rotation on this camera. I'm just noticing. Still not sold on these cameras yet, but I'm okay. Go into the Y rotation. Just select these and delete them and just set Y to 0. Like, look at that. The ground plane doesn't feel even. There's something up with our set. I think that feels. It's weird. Not sure what's causing that. All right, let's take our character now. This was first little section that we've been working on. And let's go back to pose mode. Let's select all these keyframes here. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and spline out this part and see how it looks and what we can do to make it look good. Probably not the leap. So from here to here. We'll select them all, make sure I've got everything. Right click, interpolate, Bezier. Now I can swap to my graph editor and we can just have a look at them. I don't really want to see these. I can get rid of those for now. And we're just going to have a look at these controllers. This bit's total mess, but it's actually a really good teaching point because you can see how well this first part actually kind of works. Like it's not perfect, but it's definitely got a lot more going on. And that's because one of the things that's really useful in animation is actually to work in that hold, freeze, pose thing as much as possible. Get all those poses right before switching to working in curves. So let's see, I feel like this would be a bit of a hold position right here. So this foot is starting to take off and do something. So we need some more breakdowns. We need some more poses in here. So I'm going to go back over to my dope sheet. And with these guys still selected, I'll go right click and back to constant. Oh, sorry, select all, right click, constant. All right, now let's create a few more breakdown poses. So I want them to be still pretty much for here. So let's get to this frame right here. Everything's selected. Let's hit I and let's keyframe the whole character. This will kind of mean that like from here, if I hit I and keyframe the whole character, these two poses are pretty much like, this is like dead space. It's not going to be moving. And then he moves a little bit, turns, and this is the point where we want him to kind of leap off. So let's get these keyframes sorted. So I feel like all this is fine. So he would kind of squat down, I think. Be what he would do. Right here. Select all, I, whole character. And then 4 frames later, rotate him a little bit and I'll bring him down. And we are going to need to have that double view up again. You can see him clearly, see what the shot looks like, and also get this working. So I want him to kind of squat down, but I also want to, let's see, I'll pull this leg back like this. And maybe this leg splays out a little bit. Okay. He's got some, looks like we still have some Bezier motion. Let me just double check that. I'll just switch over to my curve editor. I just have just so many keyframes in here that don't be afraid to delete stuff. And it's totally some at least linear keyframes here. Maybe it's the it's going to be the, where's it, out of pose mode to object mode. It's going to be this, isn't it? Constant. Yep. Yeah, look at him. He's moving. So where's that keyframe? Is it here? Yep, it is. So where is it? Object transforms. It's all of these. You can see because they don't have that solid line in between these two keyframes. But I don't know why it's not letting me change them. That's bizarre. It's a bit weird. Should be able to do this. They're not locked, are they? It's not happening in the pose. We know that. If I select the base and we go to the bone. Oh, there is motion there, right? Constant. Maybe it's Oh, it's because it starts further back. Let's go this mode back to object mode. Grab all these. Now he's. What's going on? Ugh, this is frustrating. You can see what's happening when you look in here. You can see that we have a keyframe here, and then take like the Z rotation. And it's interpolating in between that. And I'm telling it not to. Here's the offending keyframes. If I right click and say constant interpolation, it doesn't do constant interpolation, it just ignores me. Is this a bug? This might be a bug. Let me save. We're reopening the scene. Constant. Nope. I'm in object mode, Z rotation. Maybe we could just get rid of it. Do the pose naturally. Sadly do. How are you so good at this? I don't feel good at it right now. Just been doing it for years. All right. It's just all over the place now. Let's maybe look at this in the graph editor. Is it because we hid them here? Is that what's been going on? Maybe that was it. That's a really bad design if that's what's going on. Said, where was it? This was one of the offending ones. Yeah, look, you can see clearly. Ugh, okay, now it's working. It's because we hid it in the. Oh, that's so annoying. All right, let's just, I don't know what I deleted, so I'll just open it up again. All right, so all we have to do is go from here back over to the graph editor, and we've got to unhide this because apparently if it's hidden in the graph editor, it won't properly work in the dope sheet. So let's click those, interpolate constant. Now you can see all those lines now. So they've all changed. Now he's not like he's still sinking in the floor. I think that's from the bones. So we go to pose mode, select this. Oh, that was a lot of work to figure out that. All right. So back to what we're doing. So he slides his foot back. We got to fix this with this thing dancing. Like, look at this. Let's take the Z location of the master controller. And I'm just going to delete all these because I don't think, and I'll make sure this one is set to 0. Did that not turn? Oh. Make sure that's set to 0. There we go. And then the object transform as well, Z location. We never need a Z location on this, I don't think. Just get rid of that and make sure it's just set to 0. Just as a safety net for us. Of course, now he's in the sky, apparently. So the bone is 0. So 0 is not our floor plane. Have I forgotten that? You guys probably haven't forgotten that. What is our actual ground plane? Object mode, it's negative. All right, so that number is important. Oops. Patreon. That's a good reminder. Subscribe now to the Patreon. It's funny. So this should be negative. And then replacing a keyframe. Cool. All right, so he's going to leap. That's what we're working towards. All right, let's do this. Down. Although that foot slides back as well, and that one slides out. So we need to figure those steps out. How do we get to those poses? So it looks, and then we need to get this foot in the right spot. So we need to bring it up a little bit. We rotate it like that. So it goes up. And same with the other one. So he's going to do that first. So let's see, where's our foot control? Here it is. So we can take this foot control, we can grab these keyframes and maybe bring them forward. So he goes back, and then this other one, he can do the same. So once this one lands, this one can go up. I might move these. Take this here and that, I think. A little bit of Z. This foot's going to step. And I think he'd throw his weight back a little bit for that step here. He's not going to hold his body perfectly still. So on this keyframe, he's probably going to, maybe like throw his weight forward some. And then for this keyframe, goes up. Let's, maybe he throws his weight back a little bit. Yeah. And then down, because we're getting ready to go this way. So we want to build sort of reverse momentum. So he goes down and then maybe down a bit further. This might be really belaboring the point. But, and then he's going to leap. He's propelling his body forward. This leg's going to come up and twist around the correct way. Might actually just zero out the rotation on that bone. Actually, no, I won't. See what's he going to do with this one. Like lift his toe, maybe. So I'm going to switch from global to local. So they're going to rotate correctly. Select all eye and whole character. Leaps. And then you can start. So we're animating this. So we need to start bringing this forward to get him to move into position. But now is where we're going to need to use the master controller, because I'm only doing my world positions with my master controller. So Here we go. And he goes up. And he's going to land. There. So I've got to fix that because he's actually kind of swatting over. Now I want this leap to kind of be a continuous motion. So let's have a look at, you can take this keyframe right here. We can grab the moving along the X direction. So from here to here is going to be one continuous motion and speed. I could set this to linear. No, that's not the right one. X location, this one. Linear. Bending down, and then he's going to leap. So he needs to leap from right here. So I'm going to grab this keyframe to this point. Now we get the timing right. See how facile this is. Sometimes that happens when you're doing breakdown keyframes, is it like your timing's not quite right. But the important thing is the poses work. And then you can kind of like scrub your timeline in a way that allows you to feel like what the motion needs to be. And then we can pace all those things out. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to set a, is he traveling? He's traveling along the X. So I'm just going to go to find the middle point, right click, insert single keyframe. And then I can take my X location, turn it back into constant. And this will help me just, again, think about the individual poses and get the timing right for those. So, all right, so let's get this right. I need to go into pose mode. A to select all this stuff. I'm just going to reposition these to give them all like a little bit more breathing room so I don't just end up with single frame. It's pretty good. All right, now there's kind of a leap between this point and this point. So I'm going to grab this and just give us more room because we need to get from like the land to like up into that position. It's going to leap. So let's finish this leap off, and then I might wrap things up for tonight. So he's going to come up. I'm going to make him go a little higher. So I'm going to switch to, actually, I'll do the height here in pose mode, I think. Switch this back to global. Just go up a little bit. Back to local coordinate. We flip this up a bit. Bring it forward like he's trying to kind of stick a landing. This one. Down to the bone, and this is a good use case for zeroing out the rotations. This I want to recenter him in the frame of this, so I need to pull him back. Might zero out the location of both the feet and the rotation as well. Yeah, this is helpful sometimes just to kind of make sure you don't drift off too far, or you get all your things. If you kind of just keep animating, sometimes you can end way off of your base controller, and that can cause issues for you. So this one, back like that. Go into object mode. Set a location keyframe for here. And we can just bring it forward until things are roughly working. It's be over there, doesn't it? So let's go back into pose mode. And for this, I'm going to zero out the location and then zero out the rotation. And same here. Just gonna straighten him up, bring this up, bring him down. And I also might take his knees and kind of like splay him out. He's not intersecting himself. It's like he's caught himself from the jump. Go. And then I'll bring him forward a bit more, like to there maybe. Right, cool. And let's see how this plays out. It might be really crazy. I'm not sure how it's going to play out with the object controls that we've got, like the keyframes we put on the rig itself, not within the rig. But I think those rotations might screw us around a little bit, but let's just find out. So I'm going to hit A to select all, and we're going to go to here. And I'm going to select all of these keyframes, right click, Bezier. We just jump over to the graph editor, and let's just grab all of this and just zoom just to make sure things look all right. There's some bits that don't look smoothed out, but anyways, overall you can see it's working a lot better. So the timing's not right, and there's a bit of drift, but you can see how adding in all those extra breakdown keyframes helped us kind of solidify that motion. I feel like this tail end's too slow. The whole leap's too slow. Like the motion's nice here. That's pretty good. There's a little bit of wonkiness with the foot, but find that. Cool. Back over to the dope sheet. And we could probably even just leave this. I mean, to be honest, let's go into object mode, and I'll take this. I'm going to move him forward, so he's off frame here. And then I'm going to find, where is it? I guess it's the X and the Y we want, both of these. And I'm going to go backwards in time and find the point where those start to move. So it's pretty much the same here. So right about here, I think. If I hit I, set a location keyframe. Let's just double check. Let's watch the values here. Do they change a whole lot? It's changing on the Y a little bit, but not much. It's mostly here is where they start to change. And I want to go to here. So I'm going to select all the keyframes in between those for X and Y and delete those first. I want to make sure I don't have everything else selected. I'll just Alt-A to deselect and then delete. All right, so now it's all big one continuous motion. And now what I can do, actually, I wonder if we should do it to like here, you know, like where his foot hits the ground. This might be the one that we want to do it on, not this. What we can do is take this one, move it forward. So that he's more off frame. Yeah. Maybe we don't have to go that far. Duplicate everything. I just want. Did I do that earlier? I may have done that earlier. Just a little bit, I think. I'm duplicating those keyframes so he stays still. Then he does this little twist out, which actually might be fine. We can actually work with that, I think. I want this to happen quicker. So I'm going to grab these and bring them back. Now, you know, I just noticed these two cameras are actually so identical that I've been thinking the whole time it's one camera, which it totally could be. Like, there's no reason to have a separate shot here. So this leap, this camera, no reason why we can't stay with this camera and just set keyframes for everything and duplicate back to here. Set that to Bezier. Come over like that. Delete that marker. Let's get a slightly better frame though. Cool. Now we want to delay this camera pan so it doesn't happen at the same time. He wants to leap and then the pan should happen. And we want to get there a bit sooner. It's alright if he leads a little bit on the shot, because it's like the camera operator can't quite keep up. And then we just need to make sure it's not so mechanical. So if we go to our graph editor and we look at the Z rotation, just hide the location keyframes because we're not using those. Also not using the Y rotation. I'll like come to here maybe and set a keyframe, insert single keyframe. And I'll come to here, insert single keyframe. And I'll grab this first one and grab it out. And then this one, drag it this way. Just rotate this a little bit. Oh, nice, a little bit of correction. Is it? Oh, that's not nice. So I'm just going to select these guys and hit full stop. That will kind of zoom up the scale a little bit. I could just bring this one down some, bring this one up some. Right click, handle type, automatic. Just bring it up. Just kind of getting that flow. This guy's over a bit, I think. Cool. Look at that X rotation as well. Just see what's going on with that. This doesn't matter as much. Go out to here, I think. Cool. A bit rough, but it's getting there. I feel like all of this could happen a bit sooner. Let's just try something. I'm going to grab all these keyframes and I'm going to hit S to scale. A bit more breathing room, you know? Now let's go to the NLA editor and we need him to stop walking a bit sooner. So I might grab this back a bit. Need to fix his Y location. Graph editor. It's going to be in object mode. On this bit here. So actually a setting. See, it's getting kind of messy. It's a bit hard to see what we're looking at. We can go up to File, Edit, Preferences, and we can go into Animation. And let's see, visual keying, only insert needed, show warning. Where is it? Unselected opacity. We can drag this right down all the way to 0. And that will just get rid of all the curves that we're not like selecting. So we can keep all these turned on then, and just whatever we select is what we're going to see. It makes it a little bit easier for us. All right, let's get this right, and then we'll call it quits. Like this move is a bit too extreme as well. That's right. Maybe on this look out, we should cut. You know, that's so true, Ashley. Just one more bit. Just one more bit. Oh no, it's 3 a.m. Yeah, that look. We need a bit more of a beat. It's not quite there, but we'll get it there. I don't like that whole duck out to the side. It doesn't feel natural. I mean, it's working though. Like it's definitely getting there. It's funny how he's slowly sliding back. What's happened to his legs there? This is gonna be fun. We'll have to animate the eye as well a little bit. Do some like iris changes on that blue, that ring. All right, I'm gonna save version up by hitting the plus and save that. Well, there we go. That stream went a bit longer than I planned, but that's all right. That was a lot of fun. I had a good time progressing things. So hope you enjoyed it as well. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to keep this up as always. All these stay up so you can continue to watch the series play out as I animate the short film slowly over 100 years. We'll get there eventually, but you can see how long it's going to take just watching this sort of the tedious level of detail you have to go to get animation just right. But I hope you're enjoying the process and learning a few things along the way. So anyways, stay tuned. Tomorrow, like I said, I got a new tutorial that's going to drop, so keep an eye out for that. And thanks again for watching. Thanks to everybody on Twitch. Nice to see some support on Twitch as always. You can always find me there on Twitch at C. Bailey Film, and likewise on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Pushing that sub number up really helps people find this channel. So if you ever watch my stuff and go, hey, how come more people aren't subscribed? Ask yourself the question, have you subscribed? I'll leave you on that note. Thanks so much. I'll catch you later. Have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.